Okay, gents, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, and we're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, start the tape. Hi guys, and welcome to Piano and Keyboard Artist, where we discuss the artists related to pianos, keyboards, and synthesizers. And I'm very honored to have today my special guests, Forced to Mode. Gentlemen, how are you?
Hi, we're fine, and you?
It's
fine and great and wonderful.
Very good. Now, to you, my subscribers, you will know that Forced to Mode, on my channel, we talk about Depeche Mode more than anything else. And when I was introduced to Forced to Mode many months ago, one of my subscribers said, "You've got to see this band. It's a tribute band." And to be honest, when I heard tribute band, I was like, oh, because to be honest, you know, the whole tribute thing to me, I was a bit, okay. But then when I saw Forced to Mode, I was like, fucking hell, that's like Depeche Mode in 1993. You know, the attention to detail, the authenticity, and not only the fact does Christian look and sound identical to Devotional Dave, but what really impressed me was the attention to detail and the sound quality. But so obviously it just seemed, obviously I've been following you guys and you guys have been mentioned a lot on my channel. And I just thought it was the obvious choice to obviously interview you guys. So there's going to be a lot of geek talk in this. And let's get started. So I want to introduce the band. It's Christian, the lead singer.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Thomas on keyboards.
Hello.
And Matthias on guitar.
Hey.
Guys, how is Berlin today?
Rainy.
It was a bit rainy today. Yeah, but we are happy about it because there was so less rain in the last couple of months. I don't know if it was too less, and I'm happy about raining now.
Oh yeah, it's me too.
It's British in a way. It's British. Right?
It's British. Now, I was planning to come to Berlin this year for the Synth Fest, Super Booth. Yeah. And I'm sure you guys would have been there too. And the whole idea was to go to Synth Fest or to Super Booth and then meet you guys there and do this interview. Obviously, with coronavirus, this has not been possible. So tell me, gentlemen, how have you been keeping yourself busy during this strange time?
Oh, it's clear because there was a lot of concerts in the last couple of years, and I think, to be honest, it was. For me, it was. I'm not unhappy about. It's not sad for me to have a break now, and I'm just a little bit happy because there are a lot of familiar things. That I have to do, and to be honest, I was a little bit happy about this break. I can't tell it anymore, and now I'm here in my office in my studio every day, and I can care about my family, about my wife and my 2 kids, and it's not bad. It's okay. I think the most terrible thing is that there's no options to plan anything. And
yes,
that's the worst case for all of us, for all the organizers, for all the technicians, for the audience, of course, and that's the bad thing. But the other side is it's good to be at home.
Well, I did see one of, because as I say, your name is mentioned a lot on my channel and on my Facebook page, and one of my subscribers and group members the other day posted a video of you guys doing She Remembered All the Shadows in the Dark. That was you, Thomas. That was very, very good. And the person who posted this video said something along the lines of, "Oh, why can't Depeche Mode sound like this anymore?" And then what happened? Then a little bit of an argument starts because, and you know, I always talk about Depeche Mode being more than just a band. They're like an institution. So you guys come along, and then some people are going, wow, they sound as good as Depeche Mode. Some people say you sound better than Depeche Mode. And then there are those other people going, no way, man, who are they? You know. So do you guys sometimes get criticism from the very hardcore Depeche Mode fans?
Yeah, of course. There are many groups. If you want to say, there are the group who are very neutral and who listen to it and say, it's okay. Then there are some fans, of course, because we have really gained a lot of fans in the last years, and they are really mad about us. And really think we are really very good, and they see us almost like an own identity or an own group, not only a tribute. And then, of course, there are the haters. That's like always, you know.
Yeah.
And there's not much tolerism, or I don't know the exact English word. You know, they are not very tolerant. They just say, okay, it's not their music. They are just doing cover. And they are stealing in a way, and they are not doing anything on their own, and so they are not worthy in a way, because it's like being less famous to Depeche Mode, you know, because they are the gods, and we are not worthy to do this stuff. So it's in a way those three groups, or maybe four, because the fourth group is the biggest, because that's a group who just don't know us.
Yeah.
You know, there are many people, of course, who still don't know us, but the people who have heard us at least once, you can put in these three categories. But I have to be honest, from the category of the haters, if they are tolerant enough to go to a concert and to just once witness us, there are a lot of people who just change the group, you know. There are many who say, okay, first I thought it's shit because they are tribute and whatever. Like you said, when I first heard tribute band, I'm not that interested. Yeah. But once they see us, a lot of them are really surprised and impressed and like a lot of our show. And so that's why I can only say to anybody who has a lot of criticism to us, just come to a show, and if you don't like it, then okay, then it's not your cup of tea. But till then, just don't judge, you know.
Yes, you need to taste the beer before you say you don't like it. You can't just look at the beer and say I don't like this. So if I can just interject there, Thomas, you guys are a tribute act, and I've been following you guys a lot. However, you guys are unusual because, as far as I'm concerned, you being a tribute to Depeche Mode is, you know, some people might offend some people, but I think it's a great honor. And I think if you spoke to Martin or Fletch or Dave or Alan, I think they would be honored by what you're doing. I mean, you know, but despite the fact that you guys are a tribute act, you guys are actually bringing something new to it. And what I'm saying is, so, you know, you get these tribute acts and they actually dress up like the band. Like you get the guy who dresses up like Martin, and you get the guy who dresses up like Fletch. I always find that a little bit like, ugh. But you guys don't. You guys are all about the sound. The fact that Christian just happens to look like Dave and move like Dave and sound like Dave is a bonus. But you guys really, to me, have your own identity. And I know I did see a few videos of when you guys did that acoustic stuff. I mean, that was very unique. So as far as I'm concerned, you're a tribute act. But one of the things I wanted to point out in this video is that you guys are not a carbon copy. You're paying homage to this great band, but at the same time, you are bringing something different to it, and your interpretations and the different things you do, like the acoustic things. It's a welcome addition. So I would never, ever shoot you guys down as just a tribute act. You guys can give me that 10 euros now for saying that.
The acoustic thing was a thing to I don't know the word was to push ourselves to a new level, because we are all musicians. we're not the first half of our musical career. We're not a tribute band. We make always our own music, and we thought, what can we do for ourselves and for the audience and for the audience, and what can we do now? And we had a couple of mini acoustic, not shows, a few songs for the fans at fan club events or at private birthday parties or something like that. And it always works. And we said, okay, when it works in that way, we should try it with a tour. And so we worked together with Max, the drummer. We knew him since 2007, I think, or 2008, 6 or 7. And we love him so much. And we worked with him together and with all these great songs. And it was a long way to choose the songs. We had a big list with all the songs that we want to do in an acoustic way. And then we write the arrangements and go in the rehearsal room and we tried. It was a great experience for us and for the audience. And now we had 2 acoustic tours in the last few years, and it was fine. And we like it very much.
You know what I love about what you guys do is you guys do some songs that Depeche Mode never do live, like songs like Dangerous, and you guys do like Here Is the House, and and these are like, wow, this is what separates you to the other tribute acts. You kind of dig into the catalog and you go, okay, well, we're going to do songs that Depeche Mode don't even do live, and you guys do them. And I think that's a real treat for the fans is hearing these songs that Depeche Mode never even did live themselves. And then I think to do that is you paying great respect to the band and to the fans.
Yeah. The thing is, we are big, huge fans for our whole life.
Of course.
The most of the songs, I think 95% or something like that, we love to play or to hear it live. It's not the thing. Is it Depeche Mode or is it by ourselves? It's not the thing that we love to hear it live. And some of the songs we never allowed to hear it live because I think the first concert from Matthias was in the Worldwide Asian Tour, and Thomas and me, we was at the first Depeche Mode concert in 1993 at the Devotional Tour. So we never saw them before this.
That was my first tour as well. I was Devotional,
I read it in your my biography or I saw it in the video. And I think we were very close to each other. That's why I like it.
Yes. I feel you. I want to just start off with I want to start off with the noisy guy, the guy who never stops talking. Matthias, I'm just joking. Matthias, I want to just ask you some individual questions now. Now, you obviously are playing guitar, and what I like about what you guys are doing is, although there is great attention, you guys have got tremendous attention to detail on the sounds and everything, like very, very good. But you also have the addition of the guitar where you're playing parts that are not necessarily on the record, but it brings something to the performance. Do you want to just elaborate on what you think your role is and how you fit into the act?
Normally, I'm a guitar player, and the problem is for sure that there are not so much guitars in the Depeche Mode music.
Yes, that's right.
And so we have to use the guitar as
an effect,
keyboardish effect instrument. Or I play the original guitar lines. That's clear. But every time we find a solution for the guitar and can make a little more rocky sound, like more devotional sound style with the guitar, and
that's right.
Happy with.
That's right, because you're not obviously songs like I Feel You and Never Let Me Down Again, Question of Time, those obvious guitar songs are there, but I've seen you even play guitar on songs like Stripped, and as you say, you're not necessarily playing one of the parts, but you add something to it, and it just, guitar does give a great atmosphere to it. So it's, I love what you do. It's really, really good.
Thanks. Strip is there's the Rammstein version, and you hear a little bit of this dark guitar sound in our version as well, and so we try to take some parts from other bands if it works for us, and then I'm happy as a guitar player. and
of course,
if it's okay for the whole project, and it's okay.
Great. Now I want to ask. Let's jump on to you, Thomas. You, to me, okay. So you're the keyboard guy, and as I say, you know, because you guys aren't trying to look like Depeche Mode, you're obviously handling all the music. So obviously you've got obviously backing tracks, and you're playing as many samples as what you can manage with your two hands. So tell me, do you do all the programming and all the technical stuff?
No, that's a part I share with Christian.
Okay, you both do it. Okay.
Produce the backing tracks and prepare the samplers and the samples. Otherwise, I guess we wouldn't have so many songs in the last how many years? 8 years, 9 years now, because we're almost reaching the limit of 100 songs now, which we produced, and which we could play if we wanted to. And that's a lot of stuff, and I think one person would not be able to do it at least not in that quality. So of course I play most of the parts because Christian plays keyboard when I'm singing, and vice versa, of course. So I play a lot of productions of him, if you want to say. And we both try to give the keyboard player, be it me or Christian, as much as possible to do, you know. So sometimes we combine the parts which were originally played by 3 keyboard players to one person, which is sometimes even, which is really possible sometimes. Sometimes it's possible, but sometimes you would be surprised to see how much is doable by one person, which is not even like best keyboard player in the world, you know. So it's manageable, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of trying to achieve the best, you know. I've learned a lot of playing techniques and improved over the years just by doing those live shows. So Depeche Mode helped me, and this tribute act helped me to become something like a decent keyboard player in a way.
Well, the thing is, if you take like an example, would be like a song like Stripped. That is easy to play alone, because if you watch the band playing live, Fletch does the droning part, da, 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 da. Then Martin does the da, 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 da. Now that is possible to do by yourself. I'm getting really geeky here, but I have, and just in your defense, I have watched some of your videos, and I've seen you make mistakes, and and I don't mean that to be funny. That shows me that those keyboards are switched on. Because I see a lot of keyboard acts, and they're like, you know, there's those I've got a problem with these people that are stuck. They've got all these keyboards on stage, and it's like, don't insult the audience. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to point out to my guys here is, when these guys play live, the stuff is switched on and the stuff is live. Christian, just jumping onto you, when did you realize that you had the ability to sound like Dave? Now, when you're up there, are you playing a character? Do you sort of, okay, obviously you are playing a character, but if I was to say to you, Christian, write me a song, would you sound the way you do when you sing for Forced to Mode, or would you sound slightly different? Are you kind of changing your voice to sound like Dave, which you do really well, or?
No, there's an easy test to find it out, because we have 2 records made with our own band, in which I sing, and called Forced Movement, and you have to check it out on it. Then you can hear me. Then you can hear me how I sound when I'm not trying to be like really like Dave. It's
Okay.
I think that's possibly similar, of course. And but when I'm playing this role on stage or on demo production, there was it's not hard for me to do it because the voices it's natural, but I push it of course a little bit more in that direction to find the Dave, and I push a little more down and try to make it thicker and a bit more deep.
Bold.
But more.
With a bit more volume, but it feels naturally, and it's okay. It's not so difficult. The difficult thing is to do all the dancing moves or something.
Oh,
like that.
as I say, Christian, it sounds natural. It doesn't sound forced. It doesn't sound forced. You know what I mean? But also, this is one thing I was going to talk to you about is you've definitely got the moves like Gaon. I've got the moves like Garn. It's like you've got the moves like Garn. But if I look at Dave Garn these days, he's got the moves like Jagger. Dave Garn could be Jagger. And you, because I mean, you are really so. The way you move, it's like, you're so similar to Dave. In you know, it's so. I was talking to one of my subscribers who went to see you in Germany. They said, looking at you, it's like, oh my God, Dave Garn's in the house. It was like because he also went. He's also one of his first gigs was Devotional, and he said this was like watching Dave in 1993. Yeah. So it's a huge compliment.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. That's it. Because in 1993 at Devotional, we really love the DVD from it, and we're so happy that it exists because the tour before they never planned to release it, and if this was happened to this tour, we were unhappy for our lifetime. So I think because this was a monument, a documentary monument of this tour, and I love Depeche for this. I think that's the creative peak of their career.
Oh yes.
In sound, in light, in visuals, in vocals, and arrangements.
Yeah.
And we love it so much. And if you say it as a fan, as a new fan, we're happy. Thank you.
No, that is great. And as I say, I noticed obviously your shows have become a lot more elaborate over the years, and you guys have actually brought in. So your stage is. The video I saw, it looked like the Devotional set. It was just smaller, obviously.
Yeah.
Attention to detail, like you had the drapes that fell, and so you guys are obviously investing and putting a lot into this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what we love. That's what we want to do. And if it's not important that it's the technical way only for the music. It's also important for the light or for the visual stuff, of course, because it's a very, very strong and important language for Depeche Mode. With Anton, of course, it's not Depeche for themselves, but they can be happy to have Anton on their side, and we love it exactly in the same way that we love the music. We love the visual stuff in the same way. And I'm also a cameraman, video producer, and cutter by myself, and so I have an eye for it, and it's important for me in the same way. Yeah.
Right. So the next question I want to ask you guys is, Christian, you were talking about Devotional. And I think we all agree that Devotional was kind of like the opus magnum. That was like the peak of Depeche Mode's thing. And then, of course, I have to sometimes think that maybe because that was like my youth and yours as well, you guys probably think that was the best time. Now, I've got a lot of teenagers in my subscriber base and my Facebook group, and a lot of them agree with me. They will all say that was Depeche Mode's peak. So I don't think we're seeing it as through our youth. I think they really were at their peak. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I don't expect you to answer it in a certain way. How do you feel the departure of Alan Wilder has affected Depeche Mode? You've heard about the Alan Wilder fanboy alert and all that. So, and you know something. I don't want to sound like an idiot now, but you get you get fans, and then you get fans who are producers, and what I'm trying to say is people like you and me, and there's a lot of people who are producers who understand the fundamentals of the music. I find that these people are usually understand what I'm saying. It's like it's because they have an understanding about music production. It's almost like they can hear the difference. And I find that not the biggest sort of criticisms I get when people are like, "Oh, shut up about Alan Wilder." Very often, these are people who are not musicians. They don't understand music production. They just, you know what I'm getting at. I'm not trying to sound like an idiot, like I know everything, but I just find that the people who are most critical about Depeche Mode's current sound are very often producers and people like yourself who've got the ears for it. Am I making sense here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's the point. They when they made Ultra, they replaced Alan with 3 or 4 different people in the studio, and Thomas and me, we talked, I think, hours and weeks, like maybe years, about Alan and Depeche and his place in Depeche Mode. And there's an interesting book, and it's a private book. It's only you can get it only here in Germany because it's a German book from a journalist, and she's a big Alan fan, and she writes a book with all the media stuff, with all the interviews and all videos, all what she's heard by herself, and about the theory why Alan left Depeche. That's a book. I think Matthias has a book. Yeah, he never give me back. It's the book called In Your Room.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and because we spend hours and for thinking why Alan left the band and why is he so important for the band. Thomas said something interesting. He said that is almost always a team. Yeah, it's not Alan.
Yeah, of course.
Alone. There was a big role that's most underrated. I think is the role of Daniel.
Oh yes.
He was a great producer, and the people don't talk about so much, but I think it was really important for maybe the most important part for the band. And but it was a team about maybe Daniel, maybe Gareth, Alan, the songs of Martin, of course, and then on stage Dave, of course. And it was and we thought, okay, what was the point? And Thomas said, but you can get a producer from the outside, from another producer who you can buy the producer, and you can spend with him a lot of hours in the studio, but he's not in the band.
Yes.
And that is maybe the magic point. Alan was in the band, and that was the energy from inside the band to bring them in the studio, in the songs, and to the great. And that was perfect. You made a video, Vaughn, about.
I did. Yes. You're reading my mind, Christian, because I was in my video about Martin Gore. I was just trying to point out that these are Martin's songs. Yeah. But then you need that. But then Martin, as great as he is, Alan would go, okay, let's take this song from here and let's take it to this level. Yeah. Now, so you can't have one without the other. I mean, Alan's not a songwriter. Yeah. Martin is an incredible songwriter, and it's a little bit like you take the body's working perfectly. But if you cut off the one leg, and then you put a false leg on, and that's the way I see Depeche Mode. It's like a body that they've lost the leg and they've put in a prosthetic. Because if you look at the new drummer, who to me is like a drummer from AC/DC, he's too much.
He's a drummer.
Yeah, he's a drummer, and because you guys have done a show, you guys use a drummer sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, of course, at the acoustic gigs.
That's right. Yeah, but he's like he's in place. He's not like taking over. You know what I mean? So I always say Christian Egner, a fellow German. He's a great drummer. He's a very good drummer, but I don't think he's he's too much for Depeche Mode, I think.
Today what's the name, Thomas? Entdeckt here.
Entdeckt. Yes. Good question. Next question.
Today I find the drummer of Billie Eilish. They had just the singer and his brother.
Covered.
Covered, yeah. He's the singer, and her brother plays keyboard, guitars, and bass on tape. But they had a drummer on tour, and I found some videos of a drummer cam from the drummer by he had it on just right beside the set, and he plays. And I love how he plays the drums.
Yeah.
So that's why I really you can watch it. Just look for Billie Eilish drummer. I don't know.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And that's how I love to play pop songs or pop music, and so with so much feeling and mind for the
produced and I guess the words you are looking for is something like he works for the music, you know. He's not like, I want to show what I'm capable of doing. No, he's just part of the team, as Christian said before. So even if you look at the live setup, it should be seen as a team, and sometimes it's going in either direction, but it's not like a organic working team,
harmonious,
which can really evoke some power and some motion. Of course, it's very subjective to say that, and maybe a bit arrogant to say it, but it's just our feeling in a way, you know. And if you want to say Force to Mode is something like a bit like we feel a live show could be or should be, and that's the same thing with the drummer. So if Max, our drummer for the acoustic gigs, is playing with us, we of course encourage him to do some solo stuff here and there.
Yeah,
but it's like in within the frame of the whole concept, and it's only in parts where it's really useful and gives the song a higher level, and it's not something like showing off or something like
yes
put in every song, you know. It's just in other songs he's very stripped down and very reduced and just doing weird things with his percussion setup and something like that, which is really great. And he's a fantastic drummer, and not all drummers can jump over their ego, you know, because we really rock out in every number, and he says, okay, in this, I just play some small things to do some clap sound or whatever. He does it, you know. It's not problem.
Just remember the Word Full of Nothing setup. Max played the whole song with one hand on a djembe, just for the Word Full of Nothing beat. Bong, king, bong, bong, king, bong.
Yeah.
That's all what he do in the song, and then in the C part there comes a shaker from his other hand, and that's everything. And there's nothing else. And that's good that he is okay with that, because it's not easy to play that for the whole song and stay on that level exactly. And but that's what the music needs to.
Yes.
There's nothing else.
Yeah, I do think, and this is why Devotional worked so well to me, because you think of the way it started, they were all behind the keyboards, and then halfway through, you know, that dum 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 dum, and then the drum geek came on. There was that real contrast in the show. And when I saw Depeche Mode in 1993, it was actually the Exotic tour, because they did a smaller version. They didn't have that big set; they had to scale it down because it was in the Southern Hemisphere. And they started off with Rush. And Alan Wilder was in the middle, and he had his drum kit and he had his keyboards, and he would play drums, then he'd play keyboards. But it's like he knew, okay, this song doesn't need the drums, you know. Songs like Just Can't Get Enough, you don't need drums for that. So what I'm saying to Depeche Mode, look, I'm not telling them what to do. You can keep your drummer, but I think every every song doesn't need drums. I mean, they could have Christian behind the keyboards because he can play keyboards. On certain songs, you can put Fletch in the front and he can clap. You know, and there are certain songs like Wild in My Eyes. It does not need live drumming, and let them just play those numbers that don't need drumming. And then the songs like Never Let Me Down Again and Policy of Truth, those kind of more rocky songs, use the drummer for that. It will give it more dynamic and contrast. But if you've just got the drummer, like when he plays Just Can't Get Enough on the drums or Photographic on the drums, I'm like, no, it doesn't fucking work. But like I saw, I was having a go. I was bitching about Photographic. I was like, please don't give me these new Depeche Mode, you know, I just get really pissed off. And then someone gave me a video of you guys doing Photographic, and you guys do it very much like they did in the what was it, the World We Live Live in Hamburg, that type of style. Yeah. And you know, and then I said, well, this is more like it. Then someone had a go at me and get, yeah, Vaughan, but they're just copying Depeche Mode from 1984. And I'm like, no, they're not, because that is what the song needs. The song needs it needs a drum machine, drum track for that particular song. And then like a song like I Feel You, then you can get your rock kit out. But I just feel that they can have their rock kit, but just not on every song.
Yeah.
Anyway, rant over. I want to ask more about Forced to Mode. Right. Forced to Mode, how did you come up with that name, and why Forced to Mode?
Thomas found his own band in, I think, 1999 or something like that. Thomas, correct me if I'm wrong.
Last century.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And I told you before, the name of the band or project was Forced Movement. And,
that's right. Oh, so you just took it from that. Okay.
And we, I was in that band since 2006 or 7, and 7 as a singer, and there was in 2008 there was an option to play in Berlin in the great hall that we played later in the same hall, to play before that as a small local band, yes, and there was a little festival for local bands, called Depeche Mode Goes Rock, because the concept was just play Depeche Mode as a rock band or as a local normal band. And I saw it because I knew the organizer, and I saw it, and I said to Thomas, let's try it. Let's try 3 songs. And if you're good, you can play as for the encore, you can play your own song, or one of our own songs. And we did it, and we were good. That was okay. And that was under the name Forced Movement. And there was a local TV station, they recorded it, and that goes to YouTube. And an organizer of an EBM music festival, of a very hard music festival, saw it, and he überredet, Thomas, what heißt it?
He did some long talks to us to encourage us to come to his festival, because normally at his festival there are really only just harsh EBM bands, which are aggressive and that have nothing to do, at least in the first place, with Depeche Mode or synthpop in any way. So we were a bit not afraid, maybe, but we just what a strange show.
I was afraid.
We was afraid.
but he insisted in a way, so he was very strict and harsh, and we said, okay, we do it. And so we did our first Forced to Mode gig, which was in a way, in that time, in our first gig, we said Forced Movement presents Forced to Mode, which is very bullshit, but in a way that's the way it started, because we were very surprised about the audience, because all those hard EBM guys and some girls, but mostly guys, were just crying and partying and celebrating, and they were almost taking over the stage because they were so happy, and they really need some music after all the EBM, I guess, and they were very happy with with it, and it was a real success, and we were very overwhelmed by it, you know. And this was the starting point, because after that half a year we didn't play again as Forced to Mode, but that was the first stone in the building, you know, which would become later Forced to Mode.
But the funny things which were, the organizer forced us to play the mode, and that was the point. And then our own band named Forced Movement, and to bring it together, Forced to Mode.
Yeah, okay. There's a story behind it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the story.
And the fun fact is we even played 3 own songs at that set, because the organizer insisted in a way that we play some own songs too. So you didn't see us at that point, at least, as a only cover project. You just said, you can mix it up. They're drunk, you know, they don't hear what you're playing. Maybe they're thinking that's some kind of strange Depeche Mode B-sides. They don't know your music, you know. And so we played 3 songs by ourselves, and they were received okay. But of course, the hits, they were really celebrating. And after that, we almost never mixed up with Forced Movement songs again, because it felt strange, you know, it felt very, very strange.
You have to keep it separate now, because, I mean, you guys are, when you go Forced to Mode, it is really, it is what it is. And it's a Depeche Mode experience. That's what it is. I don't even like to call you a tribute act, because you're, as I say, you're bringing something extra to it in a way that, because some tribute acts, you know, they go, there's Martin, there's Fletch, there's you know, you don't have to dress up like them. With you guys, it's all about the sound and, of course, the moves. I have to ask you this question, because a few of my subscribers have asked, your sounds that you're using, are those some of them are the original sound banks? Is that right?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you where you got them. Don't worry.
Thomas can tell you.
Yeah, it's no problem, because to tell it, because nowadays they are really widely available.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Because Unwider did this auction almost 10 years ago, where he sold some of his discs, you know.
That's right.
In that year, I joined something like a bidding group, because there were something like 20 people who were bidding on one disc. So the cost for each member was very small.
Yeah.
And after we won one disc,
I see.
The bidder shared all the digital stuff. He kept the disc for him, of course, but he did a digital copy of it and received. But I really have to point out some of the. I guess you know the samples too, and you have heard them or played them. Yeah. Maybe you know some of the sounds are, I would say, corrupt or not of highest quality, because they could not restore everything perfectly. And of course, it's only a few songs, and of course, it's only Alan's parts. So that means we have, of course, for some songs, that's a good starting point, of course, but you don't have a backing track. You miss all the other sounds which are played live from Martin and sometimes Fletch. Yeah. So something like a nice to have add-on and to help things get going. That's really true, but it's not. But it's not everything to build a career upon, you know. So therefore, it's and nowadays almost everybody has them. So it's not like
that's right.
Like you have an advantage to anybody else or something.
Yes, like yes. No, it's just that I think you and probably I were probably one of the first people to get hold of these, and I'm not going to say any more, but I have some very good friends in the industry who, when they saw what I was doing, they said, okay, well, Vaughan, he has these sounds, use them, don't share them, because, and so I was a bit iffy in the beginning. I thought, okay, I don't want to piss anyone off, but I just thought it would be great when I did my videos to actually have the actual sounds. And I've had a lot of people contact me and say, please, can you send me the sounds? And I've said no. But then also, I've had a lot of people emailing me saying, oh, I've got all the sounds. Do you want them? And I'm thinking, where did you get them? And then, of course, I see YouTube videos of people playing these sounds, and I'm like, so they're almost like public domain at the moment. But anyway, that's the answer you gave me is more or less what I figured. But obviously that doesn't change the fact that you guys actually have to program the backing tracks and everything. And your backing tracks sound very, very good to me.
Thank you.
Well, so no, they do. They sound very good. And like songs like "Dangerous." I mean, the attention to detail on that is superb. Now, when you go live, what are you using for live sequencing or playback?
Yeah, we at the moment we have a stereo backing track, like the old days Depeche Mode had, because and that's not right exactly, because they were using multi-track backing tracks.
That's right, yeah.
But we use stereo backing track on a multi-track backing track player.
Because it's more reliable.
It's called Somatic LP16.
Okay.
Which is quite in the scene, I guess. So we would be able to split up the parts and only send the snare drum on only the bass or whatever.
Yeah.
But when we started off, we really played in small clubs and with a very cheap PA and with a very small setup.
Yeah.
And in the first days, we started to produce our backing tracks in stereo, and we did build upon that. You know what I mean? So it's very hard to change that routine, especially when you hit those 100 songs. So till this day, we do this stereo backing tracks. I would say the sound and production of them is getting better and better. Because if you play big PAs, you hear sometimes quite differences of older tracks and newer tracks, because you learn a lot in production. And nowadays they are quite good sounding, most of the time at least. And but they're still stereo, and we use this backing track player because it has a good sound, better than the old iPod and iPhone we used in the beginning days, which is not that good of quality, especially if you hear it through a big PA. Yeah. And sometimes if we play along with a drama or with a orchestra, we have something like click tracks on it and something like that, you know. So that's a very reliable system. And but before we can feed it, we have to of course produce the whole song new. So once we approach a new song, Christian or me just start off with a blank sheet of paper, and then have to produce the song from scratch in a way. Of course, we select all the stuff which is available, like samples, like we have remixes or surround mixes where you can maybe get some parts, and the rest of it is something like a good sample library and clever guessing and layering on top something like our own equipment that we have. So it's a lot of work each time. Christian just did an estimation how long each song is taking. What was it? How many hours?
I think every song needs 50 to 60 hours.
I reckon. Yeah, definitely for that level of detail, absolutely. And then of course you go live and you go, oh, I didn't like that, didn't have enough bass. Then you go and you change it again, and you keep tweaking and tweaking. So it's never finished. It's just an ongoing process. Yeah. So tell me something. In your shows, you say you got about 100 songs that you can do now. Your shows are what, about 20 songs long?
Yeah.
Is that right? I mean, there's a lot of songs to choose from. So let's say the last 3 albums. How many songs do you play from the last 3 albums? Is it not many? Is it more of the older stuff?
Yeah, in the normal show, in the normal Force to Mode show with the whole band.
Thomas is going 0.
No, that's not true. That's not true. We played Broken sometimes in a normal show.
And we played Heaven when it was released.
Heaven and Welcome to My World.
Welcome to My World.
Yeah.
Those
yeah.
songs
So four songs.
Yeah, but I mean, you know something, guys. I was at the Olympic Park in 2017 when they did the Spirit Tour.
Yeah,
and that was here in London. And you know the audience don't lie. You must remember, everyone there is a huge fan. So they're sitting there and they come on, "Where's the revolution?" and all that, and then. And then the set starts dipping, because then they start playing all the new stuff, and you can just see people are kind of going like this, and then they're going to the bar, and then they start off with "Everything Counts," and then everyone runs back, and then it's like, the audience reaction doesn't lie. All the new songs just don't have that impact. And I know there's a lot of nostalgia there as well, but really the new songs just don't have much going for them. There's not much color to them, even like "Cover Me."
But I think this is subjective. But, and maybe it's the way you present them.
Yeah.
On our last acoustic tour, we played "Going Backwards" and we played "The Worst Crime." And "The Worst Crime," I think the "Worst Crime" was one of the, the most emotional moment for me. But because we played in a very, very intensive way, because the song is intense and the message is intense, especially for us and how we see the world.
Yes.
And when you transfer it on stage and you live that on stage and you give some new stuff in the production, the live production, we did some, maybe for example, we in "Going Backwards" we put there the third verse, like the Wilder one. We put the third verse was lower and start again to build the, I don't know the right word, but they start again and build up again, and that's not on the record, and that's not how Depeche Mode play it, because I don't know, they don't give a fuck about them. I don't know I don't know because it's not difficult. Just do it. It's not difficult. Just do it.
And what? Sorry.
No. Just okay.
And what really strange for me is something like they even have their own great ideas for presenting interesting live versions. If you see those studio sessions, sometimes like the studio session of Broken.
Yes.
Or from Comeback, for instance, this is one with the piano.
Yeah.
They have something like, there's an interesting song, and there's some atmosphere, and there's something like a build-up, and something like a feeling.
Yeah.
Why not on the record, and why it's not in the live version? That they're regularly, because they're so stuck to their formula. And those studio sessions, they often use something like drum machines. They use analog synthesizers, so no samples and no programming, which would be new for them on stage in a way, but they would need something like 2 or 3 keyboard players, and they need to be a bit brave and a bit adventurous, and that's missing, because even if you say, okay, the new songs are not that great anymore, like 20 or 30 years ago, that's okay, but even the new songs could be presented in a very interesting way, and they even did it by themselves. But it's, in a way, they start with the idea, and then it's put to the shelf, and you never hear about it anymore. And that's really a shame, because they still have it in them. I think, in a way. Even if you have no Alan Wilder anymore, of course, but you could do something even with this setup of 3 people, like the core of the band. But I guess it's just not possible because of the rock and roll that has to be played in a way, because they all feel like a big stadium. We have to play a big rock and roll show.
And I think this to me was annoying, was when they launched the last album, there was, usually they come out and they do the press thing, but this particular album launch, there was so much emphasis on, this is a stadium rock tour. We're going to go around. And it was just a bit like, okay, now I get that. And I prefer personally, like the kind of shows you guys do is like what you do. I'm talking like you're in the UK, we've got like the Brixton Academy and academies, and you've got like venues that go 500, 1,000, up to 4,000. Now those to me are nice venues. And those venues to me, like we watched Depeche Mode live in Hamburg, those shows, that size venue is great because, you know, you've just got to, it just works. But when you're in a stadium, it's, as you say, you need a certain type of sound, you know, to project. And that's why you lose that intimacy instead of, you know, they have to really go all out. And okay, and you know, I mean, if someone said to you guys, Forced to Mode, you're going to do a stadium tour, you're going to do it, you know. Who wouldn't want to do stadiums? But I think to the fan, you know, it just loses so much impact when it's a stadium tour. You know, you don't have that sort of intimacy of, you know, 3,000 to 4,000 crowd. That leads me to the next question. What is the biggest venue you guys have played as Forced to Mode?
When we have to divide between the biggest gig we did on our own inside a club or a venue, then the biggest gig we did on our own in an outside venue, and of course the biggest gig in general, which was on a public ground for Stadtfest, it's called in Germany. It's something like a celebration of a town, you know, and you can come there without paying anything. But we played once in the beautiful town of Eisenhüttenstadt. Am I right? This should be our biggest gig to date, if you count the general admission. But if you just count Forced to Mode gigs, I guess the biggest one was the one in Moscow, right? In Moscow.
Oh yeah.
2019, so last year. So there we played to almost 2,000 or a bit more than 2,000. I really don't remember.
1,000.
So something about 2,000 people, but it was a venue inside. It was a big hall where usually bands like Aha and Elton John is playing. So it was not full. It was not full, but at least we were playing the first time in Russia, and therefore we were very happy to have 2,000 people showing up, and we played together with an orchestra. Because the organizer wished to play with orchestra together with us. So it was a very special gig. And in Germany, we played some shows with 1,500 up to 1,700 people, something like that. That's something like the highest mark. And I would say in Germany, in a lot of parts of Germany, we can go up to 800 to 1,000, which is quite something like an average thing. Of course, there are some parts which are a bit lower, of course, but that's something like the average thing. So, but it really has built up in the last years. You know, if you would have asked us 2 or 3 years ago, it would have been a lot lower, the numbers. So it really stepped up from year to year.
Yeah. Right. Guys, so what is, if I to ask you, which songs do you think, which you guys do, go down the best, the top 5 songs that the audience really love the most? Is that a difficult question?
That the audience love the most.
Yeah, well, okay, let's say the top 5 songs that you guys like performing, and the top 5 songs that the audience love the most.
Well, that's more difficult, because what is the song that we love to perform? I think the audience can repeat with the first question. The audience loves really the burner. I think "World in My Eyes" is one of the most, and of course "Personal Jesus" and "Question of Time."
Yeah,
of course. We have. Because we changed the set list often and often, and we look when we play again in another town again, we look at the set list from the gig before that we played in that town, and we say, okay, let's push the other songs. But then in every set we had how many songs, Thomas? 5, 6, or 8 songs that we play every time. 6 songs.
key point.
We have of course the big hits and crowd pleaser. We cannot leave out in a way because you need a structure to the show. You know, you need something like a build up. And
And sometimes we had a difficult set for us and for the audience too. And when it's always the same moment when we play Question of Time, everything is okay. no matter what we played before. It's, when we play Question of Time, it's always the same reaction. And from that point, the concert was exploding. I don't know another word for it. And for the next songs, for all the next songs, and like Never Let Me Down Again, Just Ain't Gay Enough, Everything Counts. It's always the same. Photographic, of course, we photographic. It's a great pleaser for the
crowd pleaser. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And because it's got a lot of melody. That's why it's a lot of their new music hasn't got so much melody, but the older stuff's got a lot of melody. This is why I think people like melody. And I know I was interviewing recently the band Mesh. They're very popular where you guys are. In the UK, they're not unpopular here, but they're kind of unknown here. But they go to Germany, they're massive. And I've got some friends who've gigged in Germany, and they just say that, I know people sometimes used to think the UK was like the center of the world, but, for music, but, I've lived here for 20 years and, I don't want to diss the place, but it's so fucking un-rock and roll here. It's like so many venues close down and then they put a DJ in, you just don't have these there's just no scene for live electronic music here, really. It's just a very strange place here. But I've heard, and I haven't been to Germany, but I've heard that especially like in Berlin, it's massive. It's absolutely on fire.
Okay.
Well, that's what I've heard.
I think it's everywhere. It's the same. Clubs are closing for the new way of life in the cities, and the music scene has to make his new way of something. I know a lot of bands can't play because the DJ costs a lot
less. It's cheaper to get a DJ,
cheaper than a band. And
that's true. Yeah, this is
the same thing everywhere.
But there are a lot of DJs that it costs really more than a good band.
Yeah.
The famous ones,
Yeah, it's like you hire David Guetta and he comes with a fucking USB stick and he presses it. I just don't get this whole superstar DJ thing. I really don't get it. Anyway, so tell me, so you guys are forced to mode.de, yeah?
Yeah.
And tell us more about your solo project. Do you have your own solo projects, or do you do the solo project all together? How does it work?
Matthias.
Go on, Matthias. Yeah, it's your turn. You got to say something.
Matthias, tell us something about your solo project.
Well,
I think everybody has in the last years there was so much work with forced to mode, that we hadn't time for solo projects in this way. But I think everybody of us is dreaming a little bit of I have to say something in another way, and because we like Christian said in the beginning, we were musicians from start and not a tribute band.
I get you.
Our life plan. So I think we have our musicianship in our hearts and try to let it out in some ways if we have time. And maybe the Corona time is a good time for creativity. Don't know. But I think everybody of us has his own little dreams and try to keep going in a creative way. Thomas has his project with a friend, and Christian makes his own things. So
Yeah, you played Matthias played guitar in some other bands like Stefan Jürgens is one of them.
the world famous Stefan Jürgens.
World famous Stefan Jürgens. He's an actor and a musician, and Matthias played guitar in his band. And Thomas had his band Hole. I don't know what is it called exactly, Thomas, to spell it like WHOLE.
Whole, which means everything, you know.
Yeah, whole, yeah.
And Christian has his own solo project, if you want to call it solo project too, because he's not alone there, because he's doing this with his partner, Franziska, and they're called Part. And we all do music to have something like a creative space outside of Depeche Mode and Forced Mode, which is something like Forced Movement too, in a way. But Forced Movement for a long time now on hold, just because the same people are working in that band too, like at least 2 of the 3 people Forced Mode. And if you spend so much time on stage and in the studio, then sometimes you need a bit of creative space to have something to explore new directions and to meet other people and something like that. But I'm sure there will be a time to pick up there and do Forced Movement again. I have a good feeling about that, and but that's not ruling out to continue with side projects like Part and Whole and Steffens. But I guess once the concerts are starting again, Forced Mode will be the main thing again, at least regarding time, because it's a lot. You need a lot of power and time for it.
Sure.
But I think it's very healthy, at least for me, and I guess I can for the other to have something like a creative small thing, which just for you, just to breathe and just to try out things which have nothing to do with Depeche Mode or Forced Mode, or not that much in a way, because you don't want to be stuck in that formula all time, you know.
Of course.
Because we really love Depeche Mode, and we will always love them. The old one especially, but even the new one. But it's not the only.
It's not the only thing. You don't want to be typecast for that. I think that's going to be quite sort of, I don't want to say difficult for you, but I think, you know, it's a little bit like Christopher Reeve, who played the role of Superman. It was like whenever he was in there, they went, "Oh, you're Superman." You know, it was they kind of become typecast for that role. But you know something, you know, and I'm sure you guys will go on to do other great stuff. But if you guys ever only got remembered for doing Forced to Mode, I don't think that's a bad legacy to leave behind. Because I mean, you guys do it fucking well, better than any other. you really do it well. Listen, I want to. I'm just thinking now. Do you guys live near each other, or are you far away from each other?
Yeah, no, we live in the same town.
Okay. So
Matthias has a girlfriend now in another town and with a house and in a car. But it's also I think just 90 minutes from us. And,
okay. So are you guys doing? As I saw a video recently of you guys doing that song Any Second Now. So are you guys doing any of these sort of during lockdown, like sort of live performances or anything? Have you got anything planned?
In the studio way or something like that? Or
no, I mean, like, because you know a lot of bands are doing like lockdown performances, like in the studio. Are you guys planning anything like that?
You're not seeing Condemnation of us?
I haven't. No, I haven't. Sorry. I'm going to. The last thing I saw was the Any Second Now, which was very, very good.
Yeah, so check it out, because Any Second Now and all. Today was another rehearsal session. We call it rehearsal session of release of Love in Itself.
Okay.
Thomas did a very, very sexy devotional version of Love in Itself. Yes, just check that out. And we have a lockdown version of Condemnation with 5 split screen stuff and with our backing vocals. Yeah. And yeah, just check it out too, because it's beautiful. Yes, I love it. Yes. And maybe we did it again. Maybe we will do it again. In the next
Sure.
couple of weeks, yes.
Now, I was just sort of thinking aloud. I just thought if you guys are going to do like a little mini live show again, do let us know, because I was just thinking, because I know with the Zoom you can have up to 100 people. Is that right? So
Don't know.
So I was just sort of thinking on the fly here. I could have my patron group like log in to watch you guys live, and then what I could do is I could take the video afterwards and share it on my YouTube channel. If you guys are up for that, I know I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I would just like to, as I said, I would like to support you guys any way I can, because I think you guys are doing, really great work, and I think you're really bringing great value to the Depeche Mode community. And helping them. And I don't want to be disrespectful, but we're all getting older, and like obviously Dave is not Devotional Dave anymore. So it's nice, like when we watch your shows, is we can kind of relive those moments by watching you guys. So any way I can support you, I'm very happy to.
Cool, nice to know, because if we want to check some situations out, we can write per mail and then we check it out, because it would be great. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because we are stillborn. Really.
Guys, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to cap the interview here, because I know there is so much more we can talk about, but I would like us to keep the channels open. I'd really like to interview you guys again at some point. We are in constant contact. So what I'm going to do is, guys, to you, my subscribers watching Forced to Mode, if you've been on the Vaughan George channel from the beginning, of course, there is no way you would not know about Forced to Mode if you're a huge Depeche Mode fan. I'm going to place links to all Forced to Mode's, their biography, their website, and to some of their video gigs and links. Everything will be linked in the description below. So guys, I will get to you guys, Christian, Matthias, and Thomas. I will get the details from you, and I will link that all below. And this broadcast will come out this Sunday at 5 o'clock UK time. But it's really, guys, it's gonna Slauncher, as you say in Germany, is a Slauncher.
Awesome.
I say it's really been. Let me have a sip. Cheers to you. It's really been a great honor to interview you guys, and as I say, once again, I don't want to thank you on behalf of Depeche Mode, but really, I think as a fan, I want to just thank you for sort of keeping you're keeping Depeche Mode alive, the sort of like that devotional period, and I want to thank you for that. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
What does Donald Trump say? You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. I don't know where that comes from. I've got this thing on my channel, Off Topic Chicken. You must see, when I put a video up that's, when my videos go up, they're quite long, like 30 minutes long, but the actual footage is like 4 hours. No, it's not really, but it's like I just have to cut so much crap out because I just go off on one. So, but Matthias,
thank you very much.
Absolutely, Thomas, Christian, thank you so much, you guys. This has been so much fun, and I still think we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more we can talk about.
Of course,
but
of course.
I'm going to email you guys, and let's look at doing some kind of live broadcast or something. I really want to support you guys in any way we can.
Yeah, maybe you want to look in the production next time. That's because
I think I should just actually watch some of your videos, some more of your videos, just do my preparation. Guys, thank you so much. God bless you, and be safe. I'll see you soon. Yeah.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye. Bye bye.